Hi, everyone. The Microsoft ecosystem has no shortage of conferences, but each one has its own purpose and and perspective. Today, I'm joined by Molly and Liz, the co-founders of PartnerIn and the organizers of Vibe. We're going to talk about why they felt the ecosystem needed another event, how Vibe has evolved since the launch, and what they hope attendees take away this year, and especially with their next event that's happening in September. With that, Molly, do you want to give a little bit more about yourself?
Well, thank you, Jon, for having both of us. PartnerIn, Liz and I, co-founders, are happy to be here. I have had the pleasure of being in this space for the last 11 plus years. I have been predominantly on the user community side, and Liz and I decided to venture out and do what we were hopefully serving well for the user community for most of our time, and then taking that same pattern and process and care and bringing it to the partner community especially. There's so much changing for Microsoft partners, and we just didn't feel like there was enough community support to help them in that journey, especially as the product stack collides, especially as just the greater Microsoft orgs collide. How do we best set up our partners to best set up our users for success? It's all cyclical. So excited to be here, excited to dive in and tell you more about Vibe 2.0, our second event, and I'll turn it over to Liz.
Yeah, thanks, Molly. And thank you, Jon, for having us on today. Very excited to be here. I have known Molly for her entire 11 plus years in the Microsoft Dynamics space. My time here has been a little bit longer than Molly's. I am over 26 years now, and just a little bit, yeah. But my entire career has been dedicated to community in some way, whether that was an online community or user groups or hosting conferences and events. I would say, with the exception of a small starting point, and Jon, I know you have had a little bit of a background as a developer. It turns out I do too. I used to be a web developer. And I quickly moved into loving and embracing the community, but it's always been within the Microsoft space. So at Microsoft for a little while, and then quickly moved into hosting and managing and fostering user groups and communities for the Microsoft Dynamics space. And very excited to have gone into business with Molly just over a year ago and really focused on all of the Microsoft partners.
And so there you are, everyone. You heard something that probably you didn't know about Liz on this call.
That's right.
At the end of the day, we learned something, and I've known Liz a long time as well, and I definitely didn't know that one. So yeah, let's get into a little bit more some of the things which are on my mind, right? And I'm sure that maybe others. I know that Vibe 1.0 is already gone and done, right? But let's address, I think, I'm going to say the real big elephant in the room, right? I was going to say the little one, but the big one, right? The Microsoft Partner Calendar seems to get bigger and bigger all the time. When you decided to launch Vibe, what made you believe the system or the ecosystem didn't just have room for another conference, but actually needed Vibe, right? And now that Vibe is evolving into 2.0, which I can see based on a lot of differences of what I'm seeing from the agenda and what you have. Why? Tell me more.
We don't need another event, right, Jon?
Exactly. Yeah, another flight somewhere else, right? Unless I want more points for my hotel, my airlines, right?
I think we have to step back one other motion and say, Jon, of anyone who tried their most hardest to come to the inaugural Vibe 1.0 event, it was you. It was Jon trying to make it through any way possible from Florida to where we held the first Vibe 1.0 in Texas. And the weather just did not work out for a lot of people.
No, it did not. It did not. I mean, it was funny because it was perfect weather in Tampa. It just didn't want to let me out of Tampa.
No, you really tried. I think you did everything you possibly could. Powers of
And then
some. I thought I was going to have to go to Australia to come. I don't know.
You were so dedicated to making it, and unfortunately it just didn't work out. But you were there in spirit. John, I just want to give you an instant plug.
Yes.
You called us. You were so communicative about your travels and how unfortunately they didn't work out, but he was watching, he was supporting from afar. He had a wonderful session lined up. He will be at 2.0. We don't foresee any winter storms happening this coming September in the greater Salt Lake City area of Utah. I guess if it does, it'll be the first ever, and then we can all have a really big laugh, especially John, if he doesn't make it 2 out of 2 times. But I just wanted to give you a shout out there, John, because you worked so hard to be there, and we appreciate that support. To your question, another event, another plane ride, another hotel reservation. Oh my goodness, am I out of Marriott Bonvoy points yet? Like another whole thing, right? So yes, we understand we're introducing another event. It is not all PartnerIn does as a company, but it definitely is a concentration of what we do. And this is where we need to be different. This is where Liz and I take a lot of years of event planning experience in and outside of this community and bring it to this community in a different way. And we're ready to shake it up. We have shooken it up already to the point of the question mark on some people's faces of, oh, maybe we should be doing that too. So, and we love that. We that's what this space needs. We are all used to doing events in a certain way, and they are wonderful pillar events in our community, especially the events that Liz and I have been a part of, all of the Dynamics user group events, all of the Dynamics communities events. We've been a great partner to Dynamics Minds. We've been a great partner to Directions NA, Directions EMEA. The list goes on, but our job really here is to shift what partners need, and this is why we have this event, and this is actually what started forming PartnerIn as a company. Is there is a lack of space for partners unless you want to go to a product partner-faced event or the wonderful Microsoft all-in partner events that have all the roadmaps, have all the newest and greatest. Where we saw the gap is that peer-to-peer learning. Tell us about what didn't go right with your customer. Tell us about how your company failed to best serve in this way. It's raw, it's different, and it's not product-based. We do have filters for products, but it's really not what our sessions are focused on. It's across, again, the product stack. It's about your job role, and it's about your company's focus as a whole. So it's much less to do with products. It's more to do about what your customers need in the next 6 months to 1 year. And that's where partners talking to partners comes into play. Now we have some wonderful Microsoft representation as well, but we've been very clear and said, you might not be the most favorite person in some of these rooms, and we welcome that. So come as you are, Microsoft, as our partners come as they are. And the last thing that I'll say is, it's foreign to Liz and I, because I would say we're on a newer edge of community partner building, where there is competition always in the room, but let's get to know our competition better, genuinely. Let's get to know where their strengths are, where their niches are, and how we can work together so we all do better for the customer at the end of the day. That's what matters. So that's another niche that we are really trying to build. And what was really fascinating, it was our goal for 1.0, and it actually happened by the second day, was everyone said there were no walls anymore. There were no competitive walls. It wasn't about holding back secrets or anything like that. It was just everyone came to round tables, talked about it, frankly, shared their grievances for a lot of things, shared their grievances with some of the way that they're adapting to Microsoft's changes, which is just very honest for the community and how to best position themselves as a company. And so we hope to continue to bring that to a next level for Vibe 2.0.
Oh, yeah. I always go back to your comment about like the competitor stuff and things like that. I always believe it's like, soon as you walk in the door of the hotels, leave that baggage outside, right?
Yes.
Once you're inside, we're all the friends and family, right? At the end of the day, this is an opportunity. We're part of a community that can share everything together, right? It's the greater good. If we work as a team, as a community, we can be better as a whole, right? There is enough business for all of us, and we need to lift it all up together. Yes, when we go outside, yes, we may be going after the same business, sometimes maybe the same customer, right? That's going to happen. But there are still plenty of other customers out there that probably we're not going in and competing against. And that's the piece I think we also have to look at. So I think there's a lot of valuable things there as well.
Yes.
I think just sort of continuing on that conversation a little bit of the evolution, right? I think really when you had Vibe 1, really I think in my mind you were probably trying to prove, was there a demand, right? That probably was the demand, right? What was the format that you sort of had? Was that sort of right? And so on. It's always a tough one, right, when it's the first event.
Yes.
What's the challenge in your mind you're trying to solve with Vibe 2 that's maybe different to what you were solving in Vibe 1?
Excellent question. So I don't know that the challenge is necessarily different. I think it's more of the execution that is a little bit different. I think Molly and I had an idea in our head as to how we kind of thought it would work the best. But obviously we are both here and very open, as we have been with many of our community conference planning. Like, you have to listen. We are here to serve the greater Microsoft partner community. So we are always asking, what would you like to see? What are you missing? How can we make this better for you? And as much as we tried to explain what we thought we wanted to do at 1.0, what we found is that all of our speakers still showed up with a 45 slide PowerPoint deck ready to present. They put so much time and effort, and bless their hearts, like, I actually felt bad for them because most of them didn't even get past slide 3. Because what ended up happening in these rooms was such a transformative aha moment, I think, for the attendees, that Molly and I were just really hoping was going to happen. And it did. Those barriers came down. The partners wanted to talk to each other. They had a lot of things that they wanted to talk about. There was a lot of things that people wanted to share. But Molly actually made a really interesting observation that I hadn't picked up on. But by about midday of our second day of conference, nobody brought their laptops. Everybody's phone was in their pocket, and they were so present in every single room. And it was roundtable discussion after roundtable discussion. It was such a cool vibe, pun intended. And so what we saw, and that's really what everybody truly, truly loved. You are building that trust. You're having those conversations. And so we are bringing more of that to Vibe 2.0. We were very specific when we were looking at the session submissions, which were more than we had before. So unfortunately, we can't get everybody in, but we were prioritizing the roundtables and the panel discussions because it is meant to be a very open dialogue and conversation. And let's be honest and transparent and vulnerable. Those are all the things that we're looking for at Vibe. Yeah. The other thing that we added, go ahead, Jon.
No, I was going to say, just on panels, I love the situation sometimes where there's counter, right?
Yeah.
If two people have different views, I love that, because at the end of the day,
yes,
it doesn't necessarily mean that one side is right. Sometimes we need to hear the two sides. Maybe someone's going down one way and that's working for them. Someone else is going another way and that's working. Let's hear both sides of it. And
yes,
if you don't have, panels are so beneficial in my mind if they're done correctly.
Exactly. Yeah, because there isn't necessarily one size or one solution fits all. Every business is different, and it's very good to have all the perspectives and different viewpoints of different people and different types of industries that they're focusing on, or different products that they're focusing on. At the end of the day, it just makes everybody better. Like you said, if we were just all better together, we're ultimately better serving the customers. Yeah. The other big change that we are making, we've added to Vibe 2.0. We are, as Molly and I are women business owners, we thought it was important to have a bit of a flavor of women in tech. So we have partnered with the WIT Network, and we're offering a half-day event just prior to Vibe called She's a Vibe. So very excited to be bringing that. All genders absolutely welcome. So we hope that you're able to come to that too, Jon. But we have a really cool lineup of presenters, and the topics are not necessarily women specific. So I hope that we just called it She's a Vibe. So very excited about being able to add that addition to the Vibe conference itself. So same location, and looking forward to it.
And just to confirm, that's on the Monday, right?
Yes. Monday, September 21st, we'll host those She's a Vibe sessions in the morning, and then we'll roll right into Vibe 2.0 starting in that afternoon.
Cool. I know I'm coming in on the Sunday because trying to get to the location, I have to come in the day before anyway, so I will be already there.
I think a lot of people are doing the same thing. And so please join us for She's a Vibe. Start your networking, get energized. It's going to be some really great conversations and discussions happening there. Maybe a little bit more on the soft topics than the business strategy, Microsoft programs and products and technology stuff.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, great to see it's evolving. So I think you sort of, a little bit of where I was going to go next, I think you sort of alluded a little bit to this also in this piece as well. And I know, Molly, we were talking about this one was, has the community shaped Vibe? I think what I'm hearing, Liz, it has, right? Was there a moment when you realized it was becoming really more the community event, maybe more than your event? Right? More than what you thought this event was? Or do you feel like it's still a mix of what you envisioned and what you're seeing where the community wants to take it?
Oh, I can answer that very easily. If Liz and I didn't go where the community needed us to go, PartnerIn wouldn't exist. So it is exactly what the community has asked for, what we saw quickly. Liz's example of me pointing out, I'm very aware when people are on their devices a lot, and I'm somebody who, Liz will know that, Liz knows this about me because we get to work together every day, but I lose my iPhone on a daily basis. I'm just not a device person. I really try to disconnect when I can, and I loved seeing how, I appreciated how much less device use I saw in sessions because people were genuinely interested in being there. And that's all we can ask for, and that's the biggest wish we can ever see in terms of building community with PartnerIn and giving an additional space, not a different space, but an additional space to the Microsoft partner community specifically, to grow, to learn. And then alongside that, Jon, I've also made the comment to Liz and many others in the community that ask, well, can we see your Vibe 1.0 stats of who came and what that looked like? And I said, well, you can, but it doesn't really matter because the second one's going to look a lot different than the first. The third one's going to look even more different than the second and the first. So you're welcome to see them, but it's not any fair representation of what's to come. Our job is to adapt and to welcome all and to adjust with what those attendees need every time. Not to say that we don't have foundational beliefs in what the event should be and the goals coming out of it, but our job is adaptability, and the whole reason we're here is for the community and what we thought they were lacking.
Yeah, I mean, data from a first event, I mean, it's going to be different, definitely. I mean, I know that from experience. It's going to be so different. I mean, it's a bit like, I'll just even say, like a first video or put that, or a first podcast like this, it's like what you get from the mistakes you make. Mm-hmm. To maybe the next 10th, the 20th, you just keep on improving and you listen to what feedback you get. And hey, maybe this is my 9th or 10th one and I'm still terrible. I don't know. But
we are here for the partners.
we're here, right, with the end of this, long as you're sharing. I will go back is just comment of, I think, Liz, you brought this one about the laptops and stuff like that. I actually did try to go into an event not too long ago and try not to have I actually did prep PowerPoints as a backup to try to go and just be pure no PowerPoints. That event just did not work for it.
For that.
It just, the environment, I just felt like the people weren't ready for it. And I think it was the environment, not the presentation. It was more because the environment was not set up for it.
Sure.
And I think that's the key, right? It's maybe it's the way the rooms are set up and things like that. If the room is not set up hypothetically as a round table, it's not going to work, right? You can't have everyone like you would in a keynote room trying to do a round table. It doesn't work.
Yeah, the basic.
I'm just using that. Yeah, and that's how that ended up being. Luckily, I had slides which still covered it, but that's fine. But I just want to throw that one out.
That's a good one.
As we sort of rolling along here, I think if I didn't ask this question, and I think we've got to bring AI into the conversation, right? And it's really impossible to ignore AI at the moment, and it gets really hard because it's going to dominate a lot of the sessions that are probably getting submitted, right? How do you make sure the Vibe not only stays focused on making sure the right AI sessions probably are getting selected, but you still continue, right, selecting the other sessions that are helping the businesses grow, right, helping them build out, and not just chasing the latest technology because, hey, that technology may be here, maybe gone tomorrow, but we still need the foundation, right?
Yes.
That still needs to be there. And I think, I can't remember if we were talking about this off, but I definitely know we were talking offline, which is we have a lot of new people in the ecosystem. Mm-hmm. They may not all necessarily know this foundation stuff. So at the end of the day, we still got to have foundational conversations as well.
Absolutely.
How are you dealing with, and I think you said you were inundated with a lot more sessions this year. And I guarantee the next Vibe you do, because we know there's going to be Vibe number 3. We're going to envision that's already happening. That's only going to keep on growing for you. So it's going to get more and more challenging. How are you dealing with it now?
Yes, great question. You're right. We cannot ignore AI. I mean, AI is the next thing. It's not the next thing. It is here. It's here to stay. It will continue to evolve at a much faster pace than any other technology that's been introduced to us. I mean, I sort of compare it to like when the internet was born. Like this is a massive shift in the way that we think about things. But just because the internet was born didn't mean that that's all we did and that's all we talked about. We still had to talk about the foundations of how do you run a good and efficient business? How do you treat your customers and your teams? How are you making money and, bringing in that revenue? Those basic business concepts and technology concepts still exist. So yes, we have to focus on those. With the sessions that we have at Vibe, yes, we did definitely have some that were AI focused, and our final agenda is about 29 to 30% focused on AI, but we did want to be very intentional about ensuring that it wasn't all AI. This is not an AI only conference. There are other AI conferences out there.
There are, and they're great.
And they're great. Yeah. All of the conferences that we're talking about today are all great. We don't want them to go away. They are absolutely serving a purpose. It's just a different purpose than what Vibe 2.0 is serving. So yes, AI is important. And I think the topics are more around discussing with other partners, Microsoft partners. How are you working with this? How are you implementing this? Because at the end of the day, AI can replace some things, but it cannot replace that personal connection and that personal relationship. Molly and I did a webinar last week, I think it was, the importance of partnerships. You're not going to use AI to decide to purchase a piece of software from somebody. You are going to use AI as a helper and a tool. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to referrals and your trusted connections. And you cannot get that with AI. You have to go in person and have a face-to-face conversation with people. And so, yes, we do have AI sessions, but the majority of it is going to be around other topics that surround the AI, I guess, era that we're in now.
Yep. Yeah, it's scary. It's moving very, very fast.
It's very fast, yeah. And of course, we have to talk a little bit about the technology because it is changing so fast. So there is an opportunity for people to be like, oh, yeah, I just heard yesterday that this was happening and this is happening. And so it's literally live dialogue about how fast things are changing.
Yeah, and I think if I'm getting it right, I think it goes back to, it's less about the technology. I think it's more about, let's talk about the use cases. Where are we? What's been, so if I was to use you two as an examples, right? Say you're two different partners. It's like, hey, Liz, where have you seen successes, right? Molly, have you had successes or have you had some failures? What are your failures? Let's understand those, right? Because there are failures out there. And let's bring that together, because at the end of the day, I don't think we're talking enough about that and sharing that information, because there is a lot out there. And I talk about a lot to Pope is don't be scared to talk about the failures or saying the technology is not there yet to do something. That's what we've got to do. Or if we're getting into agents or whatever, how do we make money from them? At the end of the day, the price point of them may be very low. If we're trying to make repeatable agents, can we truly make money out of that as a recurring revenue? Things like that. I know I've got into conversations at other events about that. So there's a lot of different pieces. I think as a group, those are the areas where we can go, right? It's not necessarily show me how to build an agent. There's so much content about that. I think.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
John, to your point too, from our experience with 1.0, and again, I'm not going to use the data to back this up of who was there, but I will always use the conversations that I heard. And because it is a more intimate event, that is a lot of what I heard. It was a lot of, how did you do this, agent? Could you help me build this for this particular problem we're trying to solve in our practice today? There was a lot of that. So although the sessions are not labeled as such, again, the conversations are on high, and that's what leaves the room. And I heard two people talking about like this deep level of agency building at the bar. These two are in it. Like they are. I don't think they're leaving anytime soon. They might have been there for 2 hours, but that's what this is. And this is a smaller based, again, more intimate group. So it's going to allow you just to get to know people more in those curated discussion-like sessions and things like that, to take those conversations outside of the breakout rooms. Yeah.
So I know that we're getting close to the end of our conversation here, and so I think as a closing question, I'll pose it to both of you: is what's one conversation that you hope that happens at Vibe 2, which may even have happened at Vibe 1, right? That no session could ever create, right? Maybe a session did create it as well, but I'm going to lean it a little bit more to not a session, but if you want to throw a session in, I'm happy with that as well.
I hope that there are more conversations like the one that I heard yesterday from an ISV who's very close to us. She said to us, it was the most amazing thing. I met this other ISV who happens to be a competitor of mine at the conference. And, we were just trying to be friendly, but we're clearly competitors. Our ISV solutions do very much the same thing. But of course, every ISV solution is a tiny bit different. There's little things here and there that would fit one customer better versus the other. This ISV said, my competitor called me and said, we have a customer that we think would be a better fit for you. We don't think that our solution is going to give them what they're looking for, so we want to refer them to you. To me, that is like the coolest story. I want to see more of that happen in our community, because there is so much work to go around. And it's all about building those trusted relationships and being comfortable enough in feeling like you can pick up the phone and call your competitor and say, they're our customer, but we think your solution is a better fit. Like, that's almost unheard of. And that's the first time I've ever heard a story like that. And I was blown away. So it was very cool.
And I would just add to that, and that's a great story. I think what that does, it adds an amazing relationship with the customer.
Yes.
Now,
Exactly.
with their relationship to both those ISVs, right?
Mm-hmm.
It also brings the partner into that as well, because the partner, as we know, partner is involved in a lot of this as well.
Yes.
That respect that's come from the ISVs that have started that conversation, it's just off the charts.
Yes.
Right? And I think that there isn't enough of that. I'm with you on that one. I mean, I know at the end of the day, I remember way back in time, I used to have the battle cards, and at the end of the day, and we'd say we weren't the right, and we'd put on there, maybe these are the tools you should look at. Maybe we wouldn't say exactly this one, but we would put maybe 2 or 3 and say, these are the ones you want to look at, right? Because at the end of the day, we weren't the right fit, right? Because why try to sell or force in the wrong product? It's not the right thing. You're not helping the customer. You're not helping yourself. And you're not building a good relationship with the partner.
No.
So you're screwing everything up.
Yes.
So I love that story. We need to hear more of that.
Yes.
And I think we need to hear, and I would say if that ISV is listening to that, they need to do, I'm trying to think of the best way. I'm not going to say a case study, but they need to put that out somehow.
Like a white paper.
Trying to think of the base.
Maybe
they need to put it out, right? Case study, or somehow they need to get that out as a conversation. Case study could work. They need to get that out as a conversation. It's a use case or something that's out there to show what they did.
Or a session at Vibe, because that would be a great session topic at Vibe too.
Yeah, exactly.
Why this worked for us and why it was better for the customer.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah. I know, Molly, you're dying to also jump in on this closing question as well.
I do love Liz's example. That's definitely what we're striving for and to create. It takes time. So that's why we will always say Vibe 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and on will not look the same, because our job is to continue to evolve and develop what that looks like for partners. When I say partners, I mean the greater partner atmosphere, of course, too, from MSPs to ISVs, VARs and SIs in between. So I think my thing would be just to probably latch on to Liz's great example from a webinar that we did and say, I would love to take it one step further, though, at Vibe, because you're there together, likely with some type of competitor, either direct or indirect. I would love to create spaces of, do you need a room to chat together? Do you want just 30 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour to chat? Who do you want to chat with? And let us be your curator of that conversation. I think that's where we can also be helpful, where even some of them, again, with not as forward thinking in a community sense way, because their company has just done it a certain way, which there's nothing wrong with that. But again, if we're talking about community development and evolving, we are happy to make those introductions and say, hey, this group would love to meet with you. You're both here anyway. Here's dedicated time, not in a hallway, because sometimes I will say, even in a hallway, right? Like, you're getting pulled by people, you see your best community buddy. I think that would be something easy that I would like to extend out to the partners, to let them have that opportunity if they're at, if we can help create that physical space for them anyway. I think that's just one small way to help move that forward.
I think my takeaway is that 26, as we it's not another part of the year, 26, 27, right? It is time to get outside of the box, right? Let's start thinking outside of the box on how partners, and like you said, that's the greater good, that's the ISVs, the SIs, the MSPs. How can we bring you together? How can we build that tighter relationships? How can Molly and Liz hook you up with someone else that's going to be at Vibe and let you guys have that conversation? That's what they're there for, right?
That's right.
So as we literally close down here, I've really enjoyed this conversation. I can't wait to be at the event this year. Literally can't wait to be there and literally be talking to you and seeing you in person. Do you want to remind the audience I'm going to let you guys do it so I don't mess this up. What's the dates? What's the locations? All the details of what someone needs to do if they have not already signed up.
Sure. So the event is in Provo, Utah, just south of Greater Salt Lake City. So it's about a 35-minute drive from the Salt Lake City airport. It is September 21st through the 23rd. She's a Vibe will be the morning of Monday, the 21st, and then Vibe 2.0 kicks off at 12:30 p.m. Mountain Time until Wednesday afternoon, so the 21st to the 23rd again. Staying at the beautiful Provo Marriott Conference Center. It's a lovely hotel, very fun, right next to some beautiful mountains, literally in your view out every window. It's very picturesque. And what am I missing? Oh, just partnerin.io/vibe to find out more details.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Can't wait for it. And everyone, make sure you're signing up. It's going to be a great event. And I know the agenda's already out there, so you can start to look at that as well. A lot of great sessions from what I've already seen. I can't wait to get hooked into some of those. I'm not even going to talk about my own. But at the end of the day I want to get joining in some of those conversations. So again, Molly and Liz, love the conversation. Look forward to seeing you in person. And we'll see you there soon.
Thank you so much, Jon. We're looking forward to seeing you in person again, too.